Welcome, dear listeners, to a Speak and Flow podcast episode. We are going to talk about complaints today. Complaints. I mean, it seems like they're everywhere in our chaos, in this complexity, in people with bad moods. It just seems like we can't break free from them. And so I wanted to dedicate an episode on how do we manage and navigate these complaints. I think it's important for us and for building our relationships. And so what are complaints? When someone complains to us, that means that they're dissatisfied with something. Their expectation is not being met. And usually when they're complaining, there's a lot of emotion on top of it. They're frustrated, they're angry, they're disappointed, and they could just be blurting out things and directing them at you, whether it's your fault or not, it doesn't really matter, but they are just doing it. And so in the moment, it can feel really uncomfortable because we, as a receiver, can get really defensive. And if we're not careful, we're going to refute back, we're going to yell back, and then we're going to disconnect from the relationship. There is uncomfortableness, and then there's tension, and then so we want to avoid that. And so here are some 3 things that you can do when someone complains at you. The first is listen with empathy. Second is get real curious. And third is open it up for solutions. So the first is listen with empathy. When someone complains, just take a deep breath and just go into curiosity mode. Oftentimes we can be defensive and yell back. And so I highly recommend just taking some deep breaths, taking a step back, and then move into curiosity. Start to ask, oh, tell me more. You're upset by this. I didn't do what you wanted. So tell me more about that. What is happening? And so ask questions and continue to ask questions. Tell me more. And they'll continue to tell you the story, or you can also start to do some mirroring and labeling, which means that you just paraphrase what they said. Oh, I didn't meet your needs. Oh, I failed to meet with you at a certain time, or I didn't deliver your task on time. So just paraphrasing what they're saying, but really go in with curiosity. So don't, I think sometimes if we try to do mirroring and labeling, we will feel like we're condescending or we're doing it just to check off the box. And that is going to, create some defensiveness in them. You do want to go in with genuine curiosity, and mirroring and labeling will come so naturally because you're curious. You're like, oh, what does that mean? Where is this coming from? Because underneath the emotion, you want to go underneath all that. As they continue to tell you more, they're going to tell you the story of what has happened to them. And then therefore you can get into the needs. What is their true needs underneath that? You're going to find out a lot of information. And then once they do that, they're going to be more receptive to talking about potential solutions, because the reason why they're complaining is because actually they do want someone around us to hear them. And then that'll open up the door to, what can we do about this? What do you recommend? What do you propose? What are some solutions, some ways that we can work together? What are some ways to help alleviate, to get you what you want? And so open up the door for the third is solutions, but only after you've demonstrated the first, listening with empathy, second, getting curious, and then going into what can we do about this together, and really partnering to find some common ground, to find some common solutions that will then create this connection again, that will then increase some possibilities that both of you together separately may not come up with. And so moving into open brainstorming and ideas of what can be some solutions. So that is how you can handle complaints. I know that there are a lot of people that are struggling and dealing with a lot. And so for you to take that step forward to unleashing your voice, it requires that we rise above the noise, the chaos, the fear, the frustration, and know that these are all just underneath that could be emotions. And when we can rise above these limiting negative emotions and coming in with curiosity, coming in with listening, and then opening up the door underneath all of that are possibilities, are solutions that we can create together and move toward a partnership and into a deeper relationship, even when it's uncomfortable, even when things have not, or expectations have not been met. Once you hear them, we can close the door on that, create a vehicle for connection, for change, and more meaningful relationships. So I hope that you could take these tips today on how to navigate complaints in our crazy, chaotic world. Rise. I am your sister in flow. Until next episode, I hope you take care and go out and lead with your heart. Thanks for joining the conversation today. Are you curious on how you measure up with your ability to speak in flow? Come grab my free self-assessment at https://speakinflow.com/assessment. And I'll see you on the other side.